My name is Aku Jabahate, and I am a space grantee, first round, and my company is called Bolskin Bay. And I've been living in Boston, Massachusetts for 14 years, and in September it will be 15 years living West Africa. And Mayo, yesterday you said something that almost made me cry, because you said we left everything that we have back home: culture, community, languages that we are comfortable with, family member, migrated to here to look for a better life. And that's exactly what I did. I left my family, friends, everything behind to come here in America to look for a better life. Not to take people's job, but for a better life. And here we are. 15 years later almost, I'm standing here in this beautiful space thanks to Michelle Wu, our wonderful mayor. I just wanted to say what you do and what you are doing and what you have done for small businesses will never go unnoticed. And that's the reason why we have to continue doing what we're doing right now. To know the difference between who is there for you or who is there for themselves. And you can donate as much as you want, but you are not close to the community, you won't know what's happening with it. And you've been close to the community, you've been down on the road, down on the hood. We see a lot of people going back there now, trying to do something, but one thing about Aku is I'm gonna say things how it is because that's how I was raised. When you see the truth, you tell the truth. When you see a lie, you say a lie. When you see corruption, you tell corruption. And I think our city is not for sale, and we're not gonna stand for that. So I'm asking you guys, there's a lot of things happening here, get out there and donate. And make sure that we get out there and vote, because we are at stake, and we want to make sure that the city stands on where it is right now and continue thriving. I am here in downtown, but we have another location in Walpole, and for us to be able to do that is because Mayor had put so many assets and so many projects out there to help us as small businesses, minority-owned businesses, to be able to afford to come in area like this. Because if it wasn't that the space grant, I don't think I would be here in this area, in this bigger space. And that helped us also to move further down, because Bolskin Bay is just a day spa for Black and brown and minority, but we're looking further than that to think about opening up an aesthetic school. And we are on a project and working on that right now. I will talk about a little bit more detail about it, but I don't want to take too long. I'm gonna pass the mic to the other business owners that are here and also grantees. I want to give the mic to Pam to come and talk about it, her business too. Thank you so much.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Pam Beal, and I'm a small business owner in the city, and I'm here today because I want to let people know that the City of Boston, under Mayor Wu's leadership, has played a key role in helping our small business grow and succeed. As a former small business owner herself, Mayor Wu truly understands the day-to-day realities we face, and it shows in her consistent, hands-on support. Throughout her term, Mayor Wu has made small businesses a priority by expanding grant opportunities to help local businesses start up and scale up, by increasing the city's spending with small and local businesses, by modernizing outdated systems, including expanding access to liquor licenses across the city, and by protecting and uplifting Boston's historic and legacy businesses. I feel very fortunate that our small family business was designated a legacy business. We receive so much support and guidance from this program, and it has been a real boost to have our efforts as well as our contributions to our community recognized by this administration. In closing, I would like to say that I am proud to run our business in Boston, and I feel confident in our future, knowing we have the city's continued support with Mayor Wu at the helm. And thank you for this opportunity to say that to you in person, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn it over to Adam.
That's Laura. We're going to give it to Laura.
Good morning. I'm Laura Charles, and I co-own the substation in Roslindale with Adam Rogoff, my business partner. We have been running our business for going on 5 years. It'll be 5 years in November. We opened during the pandemic. And it's really been the last several years with the support of the City of Boston and under Mayor Wu that we have seen incredible growth and success of our business for a variety of reasons. One of the most significant recent developments for us is we were the recipients of the first community space license that was administered as part of recent legislation that gave 225 new liquor licenses to the City of Boston. This is a really incredible and transformative part of our business growth. We had been running kind of pop-up temporary beer halls in this historic building in the center of Roslindale. The city was really supportive in helping us navigate that cumbersome process, but it was not a sustainable business model for us at all. So with the receipt of this community space liquor license, we've been able to open for operations more often. We've been able to be the true community space that our neighbors and our broader Boston community have looked to us to be. So we are a co-working space, now a regularly operating bar, and an event space. We've really been able to kind of realize the full vision of this community-driven business through the receipt of this liquor license. And we also are really grateful to Mayor Wu because she has an understanding of what it is to be a small business owner. She understands what it feels like to worry about making payroll. We are now employers, which we weren't several years ago, and just understanding those personal struggles and just the things that keep small business owners up at night, and working with her administration to make sure that we have the support that we need. Recently, we also received some technical assistance through the city around financial analysis and modeling. With kind of our ever-expanding business, that was really crucial for us to get control of our finances and really understand how we can be a sustainable business, strong employers, and continue to be the community asset that we know our neighborhood wants and needs. And then the last thing that I'll say is that right now, we operate in a historical building, a historical site in Roslindale Square, and the building also received funding from the CPA to do a pretty extensive water tightness project that's going to fix leaks in the building and really allow us to carry on. And that work would have not been possible without the CPA grant. So we really are grateful to all of your support, and we are not only benefiting from this as small business owners, but our community is truly benefiting from us being able to grow and operate under the vision that we've had. So thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I just wanted to add something before I get to the next one. Just look around the room and see the business owners, how diverse they are, like how the culture is in each and every one of them. And that's what Boston stands for. We are a melting pot community. We support one another, and we are here for one another. So I'm gonna give it to Rosanna.
Good morning. My name is. She's Dominican. My name is Rosana Rivera. I'm the owner of Latino Beauty Salon, also part of the Dominican Festival. I have been involved in the community for almost 30 years. I'm also the president of the Merchants Association of Eggleston Square, Main Street. I'm here today to support Michelle Wood because after almost 30 years of business, my business wouldn't be what it is today without the winning of the first Boston Legacy Business Award. After the money my business received, I was able to remodelate the business that I look like this business. We always ambitions in Eggleston Square. You think about business like Newberry Street, that for you, without the Legacy Business Award, for me, it would be still a dream to have that in mind. I'm very thankful for everything that Mayor Wood had done for all the businesses. It was not just my business who received the award. Every year, after her administration, 30 businesses that have been for more than 10 years in the communities received the award, and as well as I did, it changed completely the way your clients and everybody else see your business. You can also raise your prices a little bit because the place look a little bit better. Besides the Legacy Business Award, I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart to our mayor, Michelle Wood, because of the very first day that she was in campaign, working in the businesses. I showed her that for me it was in my heart, the Peace Garden across the street, that it was a private owned in that time. I tell Michelle, this is the only, I told Michelle because she's my comadre. Michelle, this is the only green space that we have in Eggleston Square. And they want to develop, they want to see a lot of stuff, and we won't be able to celebrate community anymore in Eggleston Square. Okay, she thought about that, I get the papers, everything, and also in her campaign, I was in an activity that she was asked everybody to write anything that you want her to accomplish in your community. And I wrote, I want you to acquire the Peace Garden. In her first year, in the state of the city, she said that she was working in that. But last year, finally, she bought the Peace Garden, and Eggleston Square have a place, a only green space that we can celebrate community. Thank you so much, Michelle, for what you have done for our community. It was, because of all of that, it was so easy for me to go and put all the signs in all the businesses that say, Relate Michelle. And they did thankful because of all that she had done for us, and she didn't have to pay us for those signs. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Rosanna. So we're going to give the mic to Michael. Michelle.
Yes.
Michelle Sofa.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Soltani. I have been in Boston almost 40 years. The last 40 years, I opened few business in Mission Hill and Jamaica Plain, and I have seen a lot in the City Hall. A point of resident and a small business owner. We are in good hands at this point of our life as a small business owner, and I'm proud to tell you guys, as a real hardworking man of the family, I really appreciate the compassion, understanding a leader which listen to us and act up and listen. Politicians usually talk and go, and they come back when they need you again. But I truly believe Michelle understands what it takes to run an operation, to pay the payroll, and take care of their business and their community. I'm proud to be a Bostonian as a resident and a small business owner, and just let you guys use this moment to tell you guys I'm in process of opening a new business next to my business because have been vacant for months, and with the help of the city and the leadership, they make it a lot easier to have a hope for future for your family, especially minority women and minority in the city. They have a good protection. I am an immigrant. I know how hard it is to make it. For that reason, I am a strongly support the mayor, and most of my business owners from Mission Hill and JP, they are 100% with you no matter what you gotta do. Thank you.
Now we're going to pass the mic to Sheldon.
Thank you. So I'm the co-founder of City Fresh Foods. We're about a 30-year-old company. Then we do public feeding, so we do meals for schools and the seniors around Boston and the state. We started all in Boston. Mayor Wu, just a few words about you. Bold, bright, big heart, and you can hold court with anybody. But you also understand residents and small business and preservation of what's here and those who have been here as the city changes so quickly. Your impact and the city's impact and your team, one of the biggest impacts was bidding for food contracts, large food contracts like Boston Public Schools are very difficult. And they're really set up for large corporations. So Mayor Wu and her administration really worked hard to simplify that process and give smaller businesses a chance. And we won this bid. And this bid really enabled us actually to be known, kind of grow the brand as well, and actually took our national competitor out of Boston and sent them away. And they left Boston for the most part. So that was a big win for small local businesses like ours. And something that comes with that I don't think everybody understands is that everything we do is in Boston. So the national company has an office in another state, another city. So we have a whole, not only do we have delivery jobs, kitchen jobs, we have back office, administration, services, finance, executives, management, all that stays in Boston. And so with this kind of contracting, we were able to keep jobs, almost 200 in Boston. The other big thing that Mayor Wu and her team supported us on is, as you know, the city is kind of changing. It's getting very expensive. It's also getting very expensive for trade businesses like ours, which is food. And staying here, paying leases. Our rent went up 150% in 2019. We then said, we got to react. We got to figure something out. We were able to stay in the city with the help of the city. We got assistants and partners, and actually a lot of people helped, and we are able to own our own building and purchase it, and now we're not going anywhere. So we can continue to supply food for the city and its residents. So that was huge. And how it all comes together in the village is that the last thing we were able to do, and it all becomes because all of this, is that we were able to become an employee-owned company. So that residents, most of our company is local residents, and we're feeding mostly folks around, but we were able to become an employee-owned company, so the money will then again stay, locally, hopefully. So I think those are all my points. But anyway, thank you, and we get a keeper.
Alrighty, so just to add on to it, so we finish up a little bit and then I pass the mic. This is just show how much work and how we appreciate you. It's that you are deep rooted into your community, you know what's happening in the community. You can be sitting up high and throwing money without knowing what's going on in the community, but you don't do that. You go into the community and see what is going on with them, what they need and what they have to do to maintain their business here. And then there's also, your team is amazing. We wanted to say, shout out to your team. They're doing a wonderful job out there, posting signs and doing the job without getting paid and doing the work as a volunteer. So it's amazing, and we want to give you guys a shout out because it takes a whole team to make this work. Shout out to my team also at Bolskin Babe. Shout out to Downtown Beach, Sean Webster, for finding me this amazing space for the space grant. Thank you, Sean, and thank you for all the work that you do. And we cannot thank you enough, Mayor Michelle Wu. We're riding with you until the wheel fell off, so we don't care. Thank you guys, I'll pass the mic.
Thank you so much. And good morning to everyone, or at this point, maybe good afternoon soon. And thank you to each and every one of our speakers, of our small business fighters, warriors, those who keep our community going in so many ways. The folks that you just heard from don't just represent people who operate a business every day and then that is their contribution, is creating some jobs. Each and every organization and business represented here today does so much to anchor and really pour vibrancy, excitement, joy, and community into our neighborhoods. Whether it is Bolskin Babe, making sure that everyone in our city knows that every part of our city is for them and should look their best, feel their best, and I'm still trying to make time in my schedule to finally get a facial. I haven't done that in years. So Aku's trying to keep me accountable on that. Whether it is La Alcaldesa de Eggleston, comadre alcaldesa de Jamaica Plain in general, Rosanna, who provides so much support. And as you heard her talk about, that when I asked Rosanna, what do you need for your business to succeed? She didn't talk about anything specific to her own business. She said, this community needs a green space. And we have our eye on one. It was a little plot of land that was where the Clear Channel billboard was. So it was a patchy sort of open space that was used here and there, people dropping by informally, sometimes some things that weren't so great happening there because it was just dark and dumping and this and that. And then a gigantic billboard sticking out of it. But it was because of her vision and because of her talking to all of the businesses in that area and their collective vision that the city was able to get that done. And something that was in the minds and the dreams of so many in our community. I am so grateful to my team for never accepting that we have to just keep things going the way that they were. The big challenges we need to tackle. The big dreams we also need to fight for and make sure that we're going after. And so thank you for all that you do. The substation, it has been just a cornerstone and hub in Rosendale and far beyond. Cornwalls is, and Pam's involvement in just about every issue from green space to safety. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that we've got to get this legacy business program up and running that I've been dreaming about since my days on the city council. Michelle, who hosted, one of the first things I did as a city councilor more than 10 years ago at this point, because I had worked for Mayor Menino to try to fix restaurant permitting, because I had had such a tough time as a restaurant owner doing that, as a little tea house owner doing that. So when I was elected to the council, I did a citywide listening tour with all of our small businesses. Michelle hosted one of our sessions. We got some incredible ideas. We made a list of, I think it was something like 25 steps that we would need to do, and checked off most of those at this point, and we're gonna keep going on all of the ways that we can simplify permitting and make it easier for businesses. And Sheldon and City Fresh just represent so much of why small businesses anchor everything. From a company that makes it clear we don't need the large multinational corporations to be the only place where we get jobs and rely on the whims of those who live far away. We should make sure that the students that we're feeding, the seniors that we're feeding, are fed by meals produced by their parents, their neighbors, their community members, who also then own the company based in Roxbury, where all of that is done. And so you've been such an inspiration, both in terms of how you treat your employees and the idea of employee ownership and a new model, but also in how we can really anchor entire neighborhoods by making sure that our small businesses are anchored first and foremost. So thank you to everyone for all that you do. We are here to emphasize the ways that small businesses make Boston a home for everyone. Small businesses are the backbone of our city. They create jobs, bring people together, and tell the story of who we are. And as the federal government has retreated from the real challenges that we face every day, both at home over the kitchen table, but also in the warehouses and the back rooms and the administrative offices and our retail storefronts, in Boston, we've been reinforcing our backbone, making our city the best place in the country to live, to work, and build a business, the best place to call home. Over the last 4 years, our administration has made record investments in local businesses. We've helped residents grow their businesses, buy their buildings, and create jobs in their neighborhoods. From Hyde Park to the North End, there's been $34 million sent out into our community to more than 1,500 local small businesses by the city of Boston, most of them owned by women and people of color. Because we recognize that the best people to build a better Boston are the people who live here, all of our residents in every neighborhood. We have broken records in city contracting. Last year alone, more than $225 million to what are called MWBEs, Minority Women Business Enterprises, including over $150 million for work done by businesses owned by people of color, a milestone that is far surpassing any numbers that we have seen in years past. And I was very proud to first write the ordinance many years ago, partnering with then Councilor Ayanna Pressley and and then advocate Sugun Itawu and BECMA to ensure that the city would be tracking how we spend our own dollars with contracting and put our money where our mouth is. As you heard, we also have added 225 new liquor licenses in partnership with our state legislators, the biggest expansion since Prohibition, and these licenses are going out across our neighborhoods. We have driven Boston's crime and violence down to the lowest levels among peer cities nationally, but also the lowest that they've ever been in Boston's history, dating back at least 70 years when we first started recording. And this is foundational, we know, for our businesses to make sure that everyone is in a safe and clean and a beautiful environment. We've hosted events and tried to focus every way of driving foot traffic into our city, downtown and through our Main Street corridors in our neighborhoods. With open streets events throughout our neighborhoods, the first time we've ever focused on having a standard rotation where major corridors are closed to vehicular traffic so that everyone can come out in the street and we see a wave of visitors, residents, kids running in the street, businesses having tables out in the street and driving up economic activity. We're currently hosting Boston's first ever public art triennial, and we've had lots of art activations everywhere as well to give people a reason to come out for a block party, for a public art installation, or for some other event that ultimately will encourage you to also shop local while you're there. We've launched the SCALE program to help local contractors compete for bigger jobs, and the SPACE program to ensure that our local businesses are the ones filling vacant storefronts throughout the city. And as I've mentioned in previous months, we're also launching a business recruitment office to fill vacancies and keep downtown vibrant. Small businesses give life to our neighborhoods, and these targeted investments across Boston, like the SPACE grants, like all of these other programs, have made a real difference in helping to revitalize areas of the city that were most impacted by the pandemic. And as you heard already, one of our wonderful SPACE grantees is Aku, and look at this incredible business that is making so many residents feel connected to our city, but also creating great jobs and anchoring this downtown revitalization. This work has paid off. In the first quarter of this year, retail vacancy was at 2.9% across Boston, one of the lowest in the nation. Our outer neighborhoods especially have seen huge growth in consumer spending the last full year that we have data for in 2024. Our outer neighborhoods have seen huge growth in consumer spending last year compared to 2019. The number of in-person transactions at our businesses skyrocketed to 117% of what they were just 5 years ago. These numbers also show and prove that what we do downtown in revitalizing our big businesses and the downtown areas of Boston also is directly connected to and feeds into what our neighborhood businesses are experiencing and vice versa. The largest employers in Boston tell me every day that when they are recruiting for their employees and trying to retain their workforce in an era and in a moment where everything is so flexible, people have options to use remote work, companies are following where talent wants to live. And so even the biggest employers in Boston are relying on our neighborhood small businesses and on our neighborhood coffee shops, libraries, arts events to make sure that their employees want to be in the city and feel like they can raise their families in a place that is a home for everyone. And we're planning to do even more. We are scaling up our commercial acquisition program to help more businesses buy their spaces and never have to worry about being priced out as rents go up, not just for residents, but for commercial businesses as well. We're working with convenience store owners on creative ways to help drive purchasing costs down. Many of the items that they all are selling often are acquired at a pretty high markup, and the city is working on bulk purchasing to make sure that we can help support and provide those economies of scale. Our business recruitment office will continue to fill vacancies, and we are going to ensure that we are in direct contact with all of our businesses on what they need. For the very first time ever, Boston gave direct funding to help businesses open up in new storefronts. These SPACE grants have been transformational to our neighborhoods. But with the 90 businesses that were selected for this program and are creating now nearly 1,000 jobs throughout the city, there were 900 applications for that program. So we know the need is out there, and we know the vision and the appetite is out there to do even more. Our small business owners are the most creative, the most tenacious, the most visionary dreamers and doers in the city. And I am so honored and excited that we have seen so much growth in their success in the last several years. Now, this is a campaign event, and this is an election, which is about choices and the different visions and options that there are for all of our residents. So I do want to be clear. My opponent has said that we don't listen to small businesses. He hasn't shared any plans to help small businesses, but all he said is that we don't listen enough and he will listen more. But my question is, listen to who? Trump mega donors? The owners of the Cleveland Browns? His business interests and conflicts with the Kraft Group, who are looking to build a Rev Stadium in Everett and continue to ignore the City of Boston's basic request for information about the project? Consultants who advise him to hide his tax returns even months after promising that they would be released and shared. Our businesses don't get to hide their financials. Most residents across the city know what it means to have to make ends meet, and our businesses especially have been doing such a service through the most difficult times of the pandemic by digging down deep, believing in Boston, and making sure that they are doing everything possible to not just make the numbers work, but to work for the community. Now, if you haven't lived in Boston, it's easy to miss what's been happening here over the last few years. It's understandable to have missed the dozens of roundtables that we held with business leaders before issuing our space grants, or to have missed the conversations with contractors of color who helped spark the idea for the SCALE program, which is now helping 27 firms across Boston win bigger contracts, or the Welcome Home Boston program, where our affordable housing built on city-owned land is being built 100% by MWBE designated developers from Boston. Not only is our administration in constant conversation with hundreds of local businesses, but as you heard, I also personally know what it's like to count the cash at the end of the day. After college, during a rough time in my family, I opened a small business to try to keep us going. No loans from my dad, no luxury condos from my dad either. Just me, my now husband Connor, my family, and our community trying to get our little tea house off the ground. So I know, and it is the reason why I'm in government today, what it feels like to be frustrated by trying to navigate complicated and confusing permitting processes, unreliable inspection schedules, paperwork that then contradicts other paperwork. Since first working for Mayor Menino 15 years ago, I've been listening to our small businesses and taking action to do my very best to build our teams to solve problems. From creating the laws and the programs to help bring food trucks to Boston, and now extended into late night food trucks for the very first time over the last few months, to passing a BYOB ordinance, to bringing live music to businesses in our Main Streets districts. And as mayor, I've been proud to work alongside an administration that has continued to focus on making it easier for small businesses to open here. And we're in the process of keeping that permitting reform going. We're overhauling our permitting process to make it easier for businesses to open, stay open, and grow. And we'll be sharing more on that in the next few weeks. A city doesn't feel like home unless you see your future in it. And that's why we're fighting for small businesses, because they chart our future path forward. When they thrive, Boston thrives. So I want to thank all of my partners here today. I want to thank all of our businesses and all of our local residents who support Shop Local and make sure that we can be a home for everyone.